And this is a Hot Topic Special Edition. And my name is Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell, one of your hosts. Today with me we have Caleb Alexander, Chris Dawkins, and Mario. Mario, what's your last name? I'm sorry. Mario
Salas.
That's all right. I forgot my last name.
I'm sorry.
Myself a few minutes ago.
But anyway, we have a lot of topics to talk about today. We're going to be here for a while because a lot has gone on this week. In fact, as I was sharing with the guys, I feel like we're going down this abyss of insanity. So the first topic, we're going to go ahead and talk about the destruction of the East Wing at the White House. Chris, you want to lead this one?
I'm just a poet, okay, to be very honest about it and frank, blunt. I don't know what to say. I mean, it to me, it's almost speechless. Who could or would even think to do such a thing and without any authority to do it? When you talk about no kings, that says he is considering himself the king. That's the way I see it.
Because usually when you destroyed or want to alter a historical landmark, you got to go through the paperwork, and he didn't. And as I was sharing with Caleb over here, that he is trying to mimic one of those presidential palaces in Russia, in St. Petersburg. Mm-hmm. And also, when this whole project, if you will, started out, he says it was going to cost $250 million. Well, this morning, the project has gone up to $300 million because there's a bunker in that space where he wants to rebuild this
There was a bunker, or they're going to put in a new bunker?
They have a bunker, and so they've got the military now involved to manage that process to make sure it's up to par. Because anything that goes wrong, all of the presidential cabinet, they go down there, and anybody else down there. Now
Everybody knows where it's at.
Everybody knows where it's at. But it's where the money is coming from. So $130 million was written off by one of his buddies. So does that mean he has access to the bunker?
Of course. No, not the bunker.
Well,
like Prince said, not the rag.
So there's just a lot. And I was shocked.
Let me ask this question. With the picture they've been showing of what this ballroom is to look like, we see nothing but gold. Gold chairs, gold table.
It looks like Mar-a-Lago.
It looks like Mar-a-Lago.
But it also looks like,
yeah, look at that.
It looks like also.
Will there be a gold toilet there too?
Yeah.
That palace in St. Petersburg as well.
St. Petersburg?
Mm-hmm. Gaudy. The inside, the outside. So, I mean, yeah, no permits, no permissions, no architectural reviews, no process, right? Not the approval of Congress, nothing. American people weren't involved in this. So MAGA likes to compare it to Obama painting lines on a tennis court, transforming it to a basketball court. Oh, well, Obama did modifications. Yeah, he painted lines on a tennis court and put up hoops. This thing is now at $350 million, the last count. But they are they're putting a 90,000 square foot ballroom on a 55,000 foot White House. 55,000 square foot White House. The ballroom is going to be almost twice as big as the White House itself. That's how ugly this thing's going to look.
And if you look at just what he has done to the White House in terms of his DIY project, okay? He has a lot of gaudy stuff secured to walls up and down hallways and stuff. This huge gold star. It's just a lot of just look at the Oval Office.
During a weather-related emergency, you think the homeless might be able to come in there? And...
It's 30,000 square feet. They might as well let them in.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question. So what do we do? I mean, you've got a guy that this has happened. everybody seems to be in a mode of wanting to wait until 2026. I don't think 2026 is going to happen.
Well, 2026 is gonna happen, but the election ain't.
Right.
That's the problem. But this is the deal. So right now, Congress is absent. Right. He controls both houses. They're doing zero oversight. He's doing whatever he wants to do. This is the deal. What's to stop him from waking up and saying, well, you know what? Let's just do the rest of the White House. I don't like the rest of the White House. I'm gonna make it look like Trump Tower. I'm gonna paint it gold and make it gaudy and ugly, and it's gonna be Mar-a-Lago North or whatever it is. There's nothing to stop him.
But what do we do?
He's going to redo a portion of the Lincoln bedroom also.
Yeah, I mean, he's already torn up Jackie Kennedy's Rose Garden. He's already torn down trees that were planted by Andrew Jackson, I think it was, or a few other presidents. And so, yeah, there's no oversight. There's nothing to stop this guy at all. Congress is completely absent.
So is our only hope to wait until 2026?
I mean, unless this country wants to sustain a protest movement. In other countries, a lot of people will take to the streets. They don't do it on one weekend, but they have a sustained movement of shutting down, of shutting down the economy, shutting down all social activities, and they sustain that movement.
Well, let's keep with that. What does that say about the people of the United States? If we haven't really done that, you've talked about how people do this around the world, and we've done nothing. What does that say about the American people?
Well, I don't think the American people really understand. You know, we've read about fascism, we've studied, we've looked at what happened in Russia, what happened in Germany, what happened in Spain. We've seen it, but we never did figure out that this could possibly happen to us. And now it's happening to us. If we say we may go to to become a fascist state, well, we're here and there. So I just don't think the American people as a whole took it seriously. Took it seriously.
Well, you know, the other aspect of that is how seriously do most people, maybe even we to some degree, do we take someone who has a lot of money as someone who can be an authority on everything? And we've done that. You know, this guy's got a lot of money, man. You know, well, he's no good. Yeah, but he's got a lot of money. That kind of attitude where you're allowing people who are wealthy to do whatever they want.
Right.
Because somehow in your mind, you've placed them on a pedestal.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter how they got the money, and you'll never know how they got the money. They might have got it from the mafia, but you're not going to know that. But you'll put them on a pedestal.
Right.
And whatever they say or whatever they do, then you feel like because they have that much money, they must be that smart.
Right.
But money does not equate to smartness.
No.
It might equate to thievery. It might equate to greed. It might equate to a bunch of negative stuff. But they never stop to think of it that way.
Yeah.
So we are enthralled, enamored with people who have money. And that's a bad mistake to make.
And I agree with you on that. I really agree with you on that. But I still come back to, it seems like, if I listen to you, Sharon, that Americans are unprepared. Okay? We don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's never happened in this country, right? And so, a couple of really good friends of mine who are professors, and I'm talking about world-renowned professors on democracy. They had a call. This is the scary part. A bunch of global professors around the world got together and had a call, and they're talking about doing a massive project because they are preparing themselves for students who are going to use America and the fragility of American democracy as case studies.
Oh yeah, they've already started.
So they don't know how to approach that.
They've already started.
So they're saying we are now like a case study, like Burkina Faso or like Mali or Niger. That's how far we've fallen.
Yeah.
To the point where all these professors say there's no research, there's no literature on the fragility of American democracy because they never thought it happened.
It's already out there.
Yeah. So we're beyond the break glass moment.
So has democracy failed?
Democracy hasn't failed, but it's fallen fast in this country.
Well, it has within it the seeds of its own destruction.
Well, you know, the way I look at it is, I'm just talking about in terms of relation to black folks. Okay. Now, I already know what's getting ready to happen. We're going to have, there she goes. But the reality is this. We stop looking back and reviewing what happened in the past because we have overcome to where we can go into different spaces and not really think about the ramifications from that. And so we forgot. We've got a lot of white people who have forgotten, a lot, you know, saying it's not going to happen to us. We got Hispanics who came in, Latinos who says, well, I left Cuba. It's not going to happen to me. A lot of people have never thought it was going to happen. This was going to happen to them.
So, bottom line, we were unprepared for this. I mean, the military has prepared, the executives, and I'm talking about other presidents and so forth, have all prepared or had been prepared, but the people have never been prepared. The only preparation that we had was people to talk about the Second Amendment. And in case, you know, you need to take up arms against the government. Well, shit, now's the time to take up arms against the government.
No, I mean, I honestly believe this. There's a red line, and I believe if he crosses that red line, they will escort his ass out of the White House.
Tearing down the White House ain't...
That's not the red line. The red line is the moment he orders American soldiers to fire on American citizens.
Okay.
That's the red line. And that's when they will escort his ass out the White House.
Well, we can go ahead and talk about this one for a whole hour, but we've got some other topics we want to cover.
One more thing about this, though. This idiot is also building an ark. In addition to this 90,000 square foot monstrosity, he wants to build an ark, like the Arc de Trump in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to build an even bigger one and name it the Trump Ark in Washington, D.C. He's building monuments to himself. Dictator stuff, classic dictator stuff. And pretty soon his face is going to be on the money, which is another dictator stuff. But yeah, this idiot wants to build an ark also. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So the next topic, Kristi Noem, who is the Secretary of Homeland Security. Now, she tried to have the airports put a video up in the airports saying that the reason why the shutdown is occurring is because of the Democrats, and the airports say we're not going to do it because of the Hatch Act. Well, that wasn't enough. So she created another video, it was AI generated, where she had some young black boys who were the stereotypical, I'm going to say it, thugs. And she says now these young black boys are coming after ICE. And she posted it on Twitter, and there was some backlash about take that down. That's not true. That's not true. But we have, again, an administration who is trying to weaponize our blackness for their gains.
Well, that ain't hard for them to do. Black people have always been weaponized to the detriment of Americans in general. So you're looking for someone to blame. You know, Hitler blamed the Jews for everything. In this country, they've always, the first target were black people, blamed black folks for everything. And now, of course, when there was slavery, there was nobody to blame. They weren't about to blame themselves. So, but now, because black people, because of black folks' experience with having been treated so badly, black folks are very much aware of being woke, as we say nowadays, and that bothers them. Bothers them a lot that black folks generally are not going to go along with this stuff because of the background, the culture, of what happened to black people in general, not just from slavery, but from job discrimination, from the back of the bus stuff, Jim Crow law, all of that stuff. You can't erase that from people's minds by asking Tim Scott to give a speech. He can't erase anything, although he tries. And so, so what is the method? Paint black people in a negative light so that you can recruit more people who are already racially inclined to begin with. And now they've got something to come out of the closet that they didn't have before. Because it used to be, right, some of these Nazi type mentalities who didn't want to come out of the closet because it wasn't conducive. The atmosphere was not conducive. Now it's conducive, so they're jumping out of graveyards. The Confederates jumping out of the cemetery.
Yeah.
Now because of that, and the way to yeast that up is to create those images at the airport or wherever else they want to create them.
Yeah, because this image of the brothers, they had, pants hanging down below their behind. They had on red handkerchiefs and blue handkerchiefs. Really, the worst, making our young boys look the worst of the worst. And so, folks got on her on X on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's easy to feed into stereotypes, right? And this is a playbook at work for them. They're eating our cats and dogs. It's easy, you know what I mean? So you want to tell people the Haitians are eating. So I mean, we've always been used in that manner since birth of a nation, right? We got to control these because they're going after white women's virtues and all that kind of stuff. So they've always stereotyped black men and used us to galvanize the worst
of the worst.
Yeah. So that's not new, but they've always scapegoated.
And that's why I say they're probably saving the worst for us. They're saving the worst stuff yet to come for black folks. But there's still that hesitation to do it because you might awake the sleeping giant.
So are we still, as a people, black people, going to be unprepared?
Well, I don't know. Everybody I talked to said they got a gun already.
Hey, man, if you start with guns, I mean, to be seriously thinking, they got more than what we've got. And I don't think that right now guns are going to be the answer.
Well, no, because I know a guy had a whole house full of guns and somebody killed him with a baseball bat. so you ain't got but two hands, so all them guns ain't going to help you. In a crisis, you can't grab but one or two of them. And if you grab two, you can't even shoot straight with two, unless you're Clint Eastwood in Hollywood. But even you're right about having a lot of guns and all that. You don't need but one, and so yes. And I'll tell you a story. Reverend Black, who's a very famous civil rights preacher in San Antonio, told me that when he was coming up during the days of Jim Crow, everybody he knew had a gun. And he's talking black people. Every black person he knew had a gun. And it was because they were always conscious of the fact it might get ugly again. It might go to Wilmington or Tulsa again. So we're going to be prepared when that happens. So, what shocked me was he said most of us joined the National Rifle Association just so we could have some kind of a cover. We knew it was a right-wing bunch of Nazis belonged to that, but we joined it too so that we had a cover and at the same time had some legitimacy for having a gun. So, and I was shocked. He said, yeah, most of all of my congregation at one time belonged to the NRA. I go, what? He go, yeah, there was a cover. And, but he said, I didn't know all the deacons in my church had guns, every one of them. And I'm not surprised when people tell me now, in 2025, black person, yeah, I've been having a gun. And so you knock on my door trying to kill me, watch what happens. So I think there is some preparedness. I think there is some preparedness of people that if this thing gets worse, and I'm not advocating that, but I am saying if this thing gets worse, then I think people they'll rise to the occasion. I mean, look at Detroit, look at Watts, by the way, when most people look at riots, they never look at the details. And I want to say it might have been New Jersey, might have been the worst one, because in New Jersey, the National Guard and the police were fighting running gun battles for about 5 days. And these were black snipers on the roof of buildings. So, yeah, I'm telling you, if they're going to make it really bad against black people where you feel your life is being threatened, watch how ugly black folks can get too.
Yeah. But Chris, I mean, I think, this it's not going to come down to strictly black versus white, right? And so it's going to come down to people who want to keep a 250-year-old democracy and people who want a dictatorship. It's going to come. I think people are not understanding that the American government has been seized by a right-wing apartheid Nazi regime, right? And so it's going to come down to the people who want to resist that and the people who support that.
I've never seen so many John Browns on No Kings March. There's mostly all whites and not all of them. The Atlanta one was a lot of black people, but a lot of whites in these marches. You're looking at future John Browns. You're looking at whites who don't believe in that racist stuff, and they don't want to hear it either. And that's the thing that motivates them. They don't want to lose the democracy that they have, even though black folks never had a real democracy. They've had some real democracy because of white privilege. And they're not going to put up with their democracy being taken away.
Yeah.
No. And so you're going to have a whole bunch of white John Browns saying, we'll fight with you.
Well, let's go ahead and let's take a break. Carl wants to show a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Okay, let's start singing. I wish I was in Dixie.
Your go-to source for informative, creative, and engaging news. With 85 convenient locations throughout San Antonio, Black Life Texas News Magazine brings you the latest updates on politics, social justice, culture, entertainment, and more. From thought-provoking articles to inspiring profiles, we cover the topics that matter most to you. Don't miss another copy. Subscribe today for convenient home delivery. Black Life Texas.
Ain't that something how they turn the song against them?
So let's just come back. So welcome back. This is our second segment to Contemporary Black Voices, our special Hot Topics edition. So let me kind of set this scene up. Loving County in Texas has a population of 64 people. Okay? But it sits in, I'm going to call it the oil well of Texas, Permian Basin. Now, I don't know anything about this brother. I went on LinkedIn trying to find him. I tried to Google him. He says he's doctor, and the only doctors that were popping up were white men. So I put, what's his name? I put PhD behind his name. But this black man decides that he wants to take over this town in West Texas and call it, his name is Michael Tanner. And what he wants to do is, in the state of Texas again, he plans on developing his own melanated county. Okay? And let me kind of read a little bit about it. So if someone offered you the chance to move into a developing all-black community, would you take it? One black man is proposing his own community in Texas for black folks and other people of color to enjoy. But there's one catch. You have to vote in his favor, and the state government is getting involved.
Well,
Now again, you got 65. You got 64 people who were in this community. He's going to take it over. He wants to rename it to.
well, and Sharon, that was the 2020 estimate. Now it's down to 43. The 2023 census says 43.
Going to 43.
It's down to 43.
43.
That's
So,
because you left.
Oh, that's right.
so,
I saw you in the back running behind the car. You were leaving too.
so of course the usual suspects, Paxton, Patrick, probably Abbott, have gotten involved and about to file this lawsuit, right? Now, nobody was filing any lawsuits when out in
Was it Arkansas?
Arkansas or Colorado when they wanted to have an all-white community. But one of the things about having this county is that you have to have roads, you have to have some type of infrastructure for water and everything. And right now, it doesn't look like the county has some of it, but not all of it. So Would you do it? Would you move to a community that was all black?
They
Well,
already have
and-
all
and-
black community.
And
in this country.
let me correct myself. I said 2023 went down to 33. 2025 it went up to 54. So now you've got a whole army of melanated army, I guess. I don't know, but that doesn't make any sense that they would file a lawsuit for that because because he said that.
No, they've already talked. They've talked about they've got some people who are already, setting up shop down there and everything.
What's the makeup of the community now?
Probably old white.
Yeah. Well,
That's why I would be mad about wanting to file a lawsuit.
yeah. I mean, it's a distraction.
He wants to.
That's all that is.
Well, yeah, it's just
There's already plenty of African American communities all throughout this country. And so if somebody wanted to move to one, they're free to move to one. They're all black towns in Texas. They're all black towns. Yeah, in
Like
East Texas,
DeSoto?
they're all black towns in Georgia, all throughout the South. You'll find all black towns and majority black counties. That right there is just a smoke screen. And it's to me it's just utterly ridiculous. There's plenty of communities for us to move to already, but this idea that the governor is even paying attention to something like that, a community or a county of 54 people, that he's even paying attention. He has bigger fish to fry, other things to do, right? Yeah, I mean the roads in Texas are bad, the education system's bad. He's already dealing with state benefits, right? State benefits, like a lot of because some of those programs are state programs that like not just SNAP that are federal programs, but programs that they get federal funding, but a lot of these state programs that are going to run out of money that he needs to deal with. There are other issues that he needs to deal with than a teeny tiny town of 54 people. It's a smokescreen.
Well, maybe we should invade the 5 counties in Texas that have the largest white populations. The Parker County is one of them. There's several, there's about 5. They're between 90 and 96, 90 and 93% white. So I make the argument, let's invade that, Chris. Bring your change with you.
My short answer to Sharon's question is, would you move? Yes, I would move to an all-black community that is starting, but not in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, not that one. I would not.
Right.
I would move to. I wouldn't have any problem moving to an all-black community. You know what I mean? One that's already there, one's already
If
If there's one established, like going to DeSoto,
Yeah.
okay, that'd be something different.
Or Lawton, Oklahoma,
Yeah,
Okay.
plenty of. Go any bunch of communities in Houston.
Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia.
Yeah,
Albany.
Waycross, Georgia.
But let's just be honest, Chris. As old as you ain't moving nowhere. I can tell you that. Unless you bring your wheelchair with you.
Well, I thought we'd just throw that up there because I thought it was an interesting topic. Then another situation, a police officer, a sheriff down in Florida, what he did was he posted the mug shot and name of a 9-year-old boy who got picked up because he got into an altercation at school, went back and got his knife, and started flashing to folks like that, I'm gonna cut you, I'm gonna cut you, okay? He got arrested, and then his mug shot and full name, address was posted, was put on social media.
A 9-year-old kid, why are we even calling it a mug shot?
Yeah.
How about a picture?
yeah. Well, they even do that because he's a minor.
He's a minor. That's what I'm saying. In other words, they're treating, again, our young black boys under 18 as an adult.
And this begs the question about how right is it to, and let's just suppose a 12-year-old, 14-year-old commits a very serious crime, murder. Who came up with this idea of certifying someone as an adult who could not possibly be an adult? I mean, where did that idea generate from? They changed it in the court systems.
Yeah.
That's allowable. In my opinion, that should have never been done in the first place.
Right.
Well,
You're not an adult till you're 18.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I was 18, I was still throwing rocks at the garbage truck.
So this will go back to the plantations. Where if they see that a nice, bulky 10-year-old boy, black boy, and he looked like he was able to produce, to procreate, Is that where the ideal that a 10-year-old boy was a man came into play?
If that's the justification behind doing that, that's crazy. That's crazy. Being an adult, being a man or being a woman requires some developmental process beyond that. It also is a mental process
Right.
where you know right from wrong, where you know what society says is right from wrong, where those ideas of being young and doing foolish things are not accepted in your mind at some point, and that comes with age. It's
Yeah.
not just about the sexual component,
Yeah.
but it sounds like they're trying to reduce it to that.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I brought it up is because even if you had special needs, if you were still able to, and I'm going to say procreate, it doesn't matter because you're pushing out a product because they saw the babies as products to manage the land.
Right.
So
So I mean, nowadays we know better, right?
we know better, but
Male brains, 26, I think it is at 26 when they start to really fully form, and
About 20, yeah.
26 and
Yeah.
women are about 22 or so, a lot more mature. And so, but I mean, but back then, yes, the black male buck, you know what I mean? And so, young folks out in the field, developing faster, bigger, stronger, you know what I mean? Because it's a product of labor, because you hit the field when you're 5 or 6 years old. And so that's a product of back-breaking labor. So you develop physically at an earlier rate than a young white kid who's in the house not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Playing
So,
with his cards.
yeah. So
But and isn't that's beautiful, and isn't it the height of white supremacy
Yeah.
to put a 9-year-old boy's poster
Yeah.
out there as if he were an adult,
Yeah.
as if he were some kind of extreme danger
Yeah.
to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And that's what the message that this sheriff,
Yeah.
this fake sheriff, wannabe sheriff,
Yeah.
that's the message he was sending, that you can't trust none of these black people.
Yeah.
And it starts when they're real young. That's the hidden message
Yeah,
that
it
he's
is.
sending.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the criminalization of just blackness, right? And so when you're 10 years old, you're already, oh my God, an adult black male, right? And so it was the same Tamir Rice. Oh, there's a black male who in the park and he's flashing a gun, right? It's a kid, a 9-year-old kid in the park
toy gun.
with a toy gun, right?
with a water gun.
With a water gun. I watched this show the other night, right? It's on either Netflix or Amazon, called Bad Neighbor. You seen the one about Bad Neighbor, about the young lady?
I haven't seen it.
She knocked on the door and the neighbor shot her.
Oh, yeah,
Her
yeah.
kids were playing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
white woman's yard.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called Bad Neighbor.
Okay.
When the police said we have when they went to the house, we have a black male, right? I think the kid might have been 9, 10, 11 years, her son. We have a black male in the front yard, and that's how they responded to him. He wasn't a kid who was crying. He wasn't a kid whose mom had just got shot. He was a black male. You know what I mean? And so now you compare and contrast this to before I watched this show last week. It was a group of Republicans who were anywhere from late 20s to damn near 40, who were kids being kids, right? So they were praising Hitler and praising Nazis and talking about marching people to the gas chambers, right? But to the white mindset, they were kids being
Well, they're
kids.
just kids having fun.
Yeah, they were boys will be boys. You know what I mean? They're kids. They're 39 years old. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's an innocence attached to this. I'm sorry, Carl. There's an innocence attached to white male. You know what I mean? And they get to have the benefit of the doubt, and they get to be young, and they get to make mistakes. But when it comes to young black folks, even if you're 9 or 10 or 11 years old, you're already a dangerous black
And they're
male.
already saying that they're going to probably attach felony charges on this young boy.
Yeah.
So he's already, if he gets a felony charge, he's going to have a hard time getting a job.
Yeah.
He can't vote, so.
There's a story that's out, and I just want to bring it to y'all's attention. There's a school district, and I don't remember where it was at, that is using AI to make sure that there's no guns within their school district.
Except that they identified a potato chip bag as a gun.
Right.
Well, that's so much for AI, Carl.
That is correct. So
Right.
this kid has a Doritos bag, and the AI looked at it and thought it was a gun.
Right.
So they sent all the officers, Yeah, they sent all the officers to this school, and the kid says, hey, I'm looking at, just thinking that they coming to see somebody else. He said, until I see they're approaching me, and then the witnesses say they told him to get on the ground, put his hands behind his back and all that kind of stuff, and because he had this Doritos bag.
This is just my own speculation from a scientific level. If you look at some of the jokes on TikTok, there's a joke where a guy has a water gun and he hides it in a potato chip bag. And when the person overeating at the restaurant's not looking, shoots him. And the guy in the restaurant is going like, what? It's a joke. So what I'm saying from a scientific point of view, I bet you the AI algorithm built a gun into a potato chip bag, and that's how that got twisted that way. So you can't trust those AI algorithms all the time. They make mistakes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, all the time.
Wow, I didn't
All
hear
the time.
about that one. I didn't see that at no 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, have you seen that TikTok? It's in a water gun, and when you're not looking.
Black Life Texas News
So that's how a
Magazine,
potato
your
chip bag
go-to
can
source
be
for
read through the
informative,
algorithm.
creative, and engaging news. With 85 convenient locations throughout San Antonio, Black Life Texas News Magazine brings you the latest updates on politics, social justice, culture, entertainment, and more. From thought-provoking articles to inspiring profiles, we cover the topics that matter most to you. Don't miss another copy. Subscribe today for convenient home delivery. Black Life Texas.
Okay, and welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices. I don't know anybody who hasn't heard this story yet. Reverend Marvin Winans. So, evidently there's a situation down in his church. He's trying to build one of these Eagle buildings, huge church building. And evidently there could be, this is all rumor, a money issue. So he asked the members of his congregation to bring in $2,000. I don't know if it's per household or per adult. That part I don't know, but it's $2,000. So a woman and her son step up to where he is, and they presented. And this woman was proud that she was able to give him a total of $1,200. And he chastised her and said, "This is not what I asked for." What would you do?
Asked him, was he looking for a ballroom on top of it?
Take my money back.
Yeah, can I answer that? Yeah.
Yeah, this is that.
So yeah, Reb would have got he'd have got a few choice ungodly words from me, and then they would have probably escorted me out the church, and I'd have snatched my $1,200 and I'd have
Being a woman, luckily, if she had some high heels on, you know what to do with those.
And what's really a shame is that he probably lives, I don't know what his address is, but he probably lives in a mansion, probably has a fleet of high luxury in
A
cars.
helicopter, too.
This woman was obviously a single parent.
Probably couldn't afford throwing it
couldn't
out.
afford
She probably needed some new furniture, some more groceries, whatever. But she gave it with joy. And for him to chastise her, and she said, "Well, let me see if I can figure out how to get to $800."
How can we join
That's
their
where,
church?
see Mario?
How can we join their church and vote him out?
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah, he should-
Detroit.
But see, my thing is, every single member of that church should have got up and walked out.
And voted him out at the next board meeting.
Every single member of that church should have got up.
I'm
You
really
can fire preachers, too. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. Yeah.
not Baptist preachers. Anyway,
Yeah.
but
They should have walked out.
And grabbed her money.
I'm just sorry
Yeah.
that this issue has come up. He's dealt with it in that way, and to me, tarnished a very good family name that they had as far as being the Winans. Okay, that to me is the bigger issue than anything else. He's damaged their family name. There's a lot of the Winans, the CCs and the BBs and the whoever else, that we all look and hear and hear them sing and so forth.
Yeah.
This is just bad.
Which begs the question: why are you asking the congregation for $2,000 a piece? You got people you can get that money from.
Or can he?
Yeah, that's true too. Unless they cut him off.
You never look a gift horse in the mouth, is what my grandmother used to say. So when the lady came with $1,200, she came with what she could come with. Okay?
Yeah.
And she wanted to be a part of it by giving the $1,200.
But my problem with that is, you don't even ask. You know what I mean?
I agree.
If they know if there's an offering every Sunday,
They have no shame.
you let people give what they're gonna give. People gonna give what they're gonna
Give
give.
of a joyful heart.
Exactly. You don't ask for money. You know what I mean? That's my issue with that.
So when I saw this, interesting enough, Jamal Bryant popped up on another link. He was talking to a podcaster, and I did not realize there was a movement out there to where he is supporting, where don't ask the people to tithe. Have them give of a joyful heart. But he says there ought to be more efforts in teaching people how to budget, teaching the church how to budget. But there is a growing movement on stop asking folks to tithe and let them give what they can give of a joyful heart.
There needs to be a growing movement to stop building these giant monuments
Churches.
to ego. Yeah, because to me, when you spend $100 million on a building, and there's people down the street that are living under the bridge, you completely lost the meaning of Christianity.
Yeah.
This is a whole different subject, but the church has, to a certain degree, in my opinion, lost its meaning and effectiveness. And what do I mean by that? I'm saying, again, getting back to some of the things we talked about earlier, Mario, where we think that some people should be doing stuff. Back in the older days, we could depend on the church. And you can't depend on the church anymore because they're doing the things like Marvin Winans is doing. So I don't think, and they've lost a lot of members. I shouldn't say lost members, but people to go after COVID to go back to the church. There's not that many people that are going because I can go online. I don't have to get dressed. I can do whatever I want to do,
Right.
and that's kind of what happens. But I think there's a big issue with the church, and hopefully, Sharon, one day we can do a segment about the church.
We can.
Yeah, but
Ready for it.
they've lost younger members because of the message.
Right.
You know what I mean? The message is no longer there. The message is no longer pure. You have ATM machines in the back of the church. You know what I mean? Where that at? You know what I'm saying? Jesus himself overturned the money changers' tables.
Right.
But you got an ATM machine in the back of your church.
Right.
That's my problem. There's another one that Doc and I were talking about where the dude parks a Bentley in his church.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He parks his Bentley inside of his church.
Up at the pulpit.
Yeah.
Up at the pulpit.
Yes.
And so someone asked, and he says that he bought the car because it's a representation of him and the church, meaning the members, right? So one of the members said, well, can I drive it? He said, no, you can't drive it.
Well, it's like some preachers, and not a lot of them are good, but the ones that are shaky, saying that they've been blessed somehow because they have a Rolls Royce or they have a BMW or a helicopter. The devil might have gave them that money. They keep that you might be blessed by Satan.
So what we're going to do here is, I think we're running out of some time.
No, we still got time.
We still got time.
Yeah, we got
We're
time.
going to go ahead and take a commercial break.
Are we ready? No, we still have. Let's go to the next one. We only had one topic.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We want to do one topic.
So the next topic is